is a talented singer and songwriter who also works in the music industry as a marketing professional for a music publishing company. The company places original music from up and coming artists in all types of media, such as film, television, ads, and video games. Xena immigrated to the USA from Russia in her early 20s and has since had the opportunity to travel all around the world. She secured global partnerships within the music business community and experienced working in different spheres of the music industry, including A&R, distribution, music sync licensing, and publishing. Then there's the new creative project that Xena is leading called What If I? What If I began in May of 2020. 4 songwriters, including Xena, joined together to write a catchy pop song called On My Throne, which was later featured on Netflix's hit show Hype House at the beginning of 2022. What If I's second single, titled No Photos on the Walls, is out now. Xena has worked for and been mentored by the legendary record executive Dame Dash, who is known for co-founding Rockefeller Records alongside Jay-Z. From moving abroad to breaking into the music industry, she is a fascinating young woman. Please welcome Xena Plat to the hot seat. Hello, Xena, and welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. Let's get right into the interview. My first question for you is, what country are you originally from, and what inspired you to move to the United States?
So, I was born in Russia in a very small town. We moved a lot when I was a child. When I was 17, I moved to Moscow. I worked there for a while. I've been drawn to music my whole life. I had a really great music teacher during my elementary school years, and I really wanted to make music or somehow work in the music industry. I knew that at some point in my life I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna get into the music industry, but I didn't know what exactly I was going to do, whether I'm going to become an artist or work on the business side of things. So when I moved to Moscow, I worked at a university for 5 years as a head of sales department, and I was like managing other salespeople, working on marketing strategies, and I really enjoyed that. So I decided to combine two things that I love, music and marketing management, and become an artist manager. I opened a music label there in Moscow, started working with artists, started promoting artists, and it didn't really work out for me. I was trying to educate myself to like find more information about the music industry and how the things are going and how to become successful as an artist manager. And since the music industry in Russia hasn't developed yet, I decided to move elsewhere and learn about the music industry. That's how I decided to move to the US. What would be the better place to go to learn about the music industry if not LA, where
Yeah.
everything is born, like all of the legends, and it is the capital of the music industry. So I decided that I'm gonna move to Los Angeles and study. I picked music business certificate program at UCLA, sold all of the things that I own in Russia, got all my savings, paid for the first quarter of this music certificate program, and moved there.
That's amazing. I love people who just go for it and go for their dreams and don't let anything hold them back. So I'd love to hear that. Now, it kind of goes into my second question for you, which is, when did you realize that you wanted to seriously pursue a music career? A lot of people, they want to pursue something in the entertainment industry, whether it be music or something else, but they never go about actually pursuing it. I think a lot of times because they're scared, because they know how hard it is. So when did you know that you seriously wanted to take music as your career?
There was no question for me that I'm going to work in the music industry. I knew that it's going to be hard, but I dealt with a lot of stuff in my life in general before I started working in the music industry. So I wouldn't say I was scared. Honestly, when I moved to the US, I was 22 years old. So I wasn't as smart as I am right now. So I didn't know what I was going to deal with, honestly.
Yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't know what is it to live abroad and what type of difficulties you're gonna face during your living abroad, especially in the US. I wasn't scared because I didn't fully understand what I was going for at that
Yeah.
time. Music was everything for me, and I knew that I really want to dedicate my life to it. And I've met lots of inspiring people along the way who helped me a lot not to give up and just like keep going.
Now, a lot of people dream of breaking into the music industry, but never get the opportunity to do so, to pursue that dream. How did you manage to get a footing into the notoriously difficult to enter music industry? What was your break into the industry?
I would say making the decision of going to UCLA and learning and like getting this certificate program was a first step for me because
Mm,
I didn't know much about the music industry, and the level of English language back then wasn't as good as now.
mm,
So I couldn't really read about the music industry in the internet. So that was the first step for me. And I would say another a good thing about like learning and going to UCLA and like being a part of this music business certificate program is meeting lots of people who are also pursuing that dream and also like trying to make it in the music industry. Because of that, I do have lots of connections in the music industry from my like student years. And then I was just hustling around, getting lots of internships, going out to concerts, local concerts,
mm,
parties, networking, and analyzing my path right now. If you don't have the opportunity of going to the university and you don't have the funds, I would say that just reading the information in the internet, that's what I would do if I knew everything that I know right now. I wouldn't spend this much money on going to UCLA actually, even though it's such a great experience. It's just learning from the internet, trying to get that internship because this is how you start in the music industry. You're working for free a lot of the
yeah.
time, building the name for yourself and showing what you can do, learning a lot along the way, meeting people, go get those internships, work as hard as you can, and eventually you're gonna get like an offer for part-time or full-time. It's just a matter of not giving up and pushing. If you want to get started as in music as an artist, just gotta put yourself out there, go on TikTok and Instagram, do the reels, post content every day as much as you can. Collaborate with other artists. That's how I started making music myself. I put together a songwriting camp and invited my friends and people that I studied with at UCLA. And I had an idea of writing a song for TikTok because TikTok was popping up at that time, and lots of like challenges like dance challenge or whatever other challenge. And I had an idea of creating a song that could be popular. And I just put together a brief for the songwriting team and we wrote a song together. Eventually we like wrote this song, and at that time I was working and I'm still working for a music publishing company called 401 Music Group. And I was able to pitch my song to my boss. She liked it. We signed the song, and she got into our catalog. And eventually, the song made it to Netflix Hype House show a year later after the song
Amazing.
was released. So yeah, just being very proactive, collaborating with other artists, because for sure it's going to be easier to create a song and to release a song when you have some other producer or songwriter or an artist working on it. And creatively it's also easier because you kind of go into the flow and creating something together, network as much as you can.
Now, you've traveled to many different parts of the world, and you're currently in the wonderful South Korea. So am
Yes.
I. So what brought you to South Korea?
In 2021, my US visa has expired. So I had to leave somewhere, and I am so blessed that I found Form One Music Group and my boss, Kristen, who offered to sponsor me for my work visa. So at that time, while we were working on the work visa papers, I had to go elsewhere and stay there while we are waiting on the documents. So I decided to go to Denmark, Copenhagen, and stay a while there because for a while over there because my boss, she also lives in Copenhagen right now. So it was really nice to actually work with her in person, go to our partner's office, meet people there. I stayed there for 2 months, and then I moved to Turkey, Istanbul, because I have a very good friend there whom I met in LA while we were studying at UCLA.
Oh,
They moved back to Istanbul. They are originally from Turkey, so they moved back to Istanbul, and I thought that would be like cool to meet them again, to hang out, and maybe I would be able to find maybe Turkish local artists. And at that time, we also needed a Turkish sub publisher. So I kind of decided to combine business and pleasure. And thanks to my very good friend, I was actually able to find a sub publisher for our company, a new partner. And I stayed there for 2 months. And then I decided to go back to Russia to visit my friends and family. I stayed there for 3 or 4 months before the war happened,
mhm,
just enjoying my family, dealing with lots of stuff. Just At that time, it already felt like it lasts forever. This visa uh, paperwork, because it's been over 6 or 7 months at that point. So I was slightly exhausted by this
yeah,
waiting process. I didn't have a solid plan back then. When the war happened, I was so heartbroken. I didn't know what to do, and I was super lost, and I had to get out of Russia immediately for many reasons. First of all, I'm working for an American company, and Russia is started being isolated in many ways. It actually influenced my work back then, so I had to move elsewhere so I could keep working on my career, keep working with Forum One music group. Uh, Another thing that I don't support the war, and I was very vocal about it, and it really complicates your life if you live in Russia. So that was another part of things. Right when the war started, I moved back to Istanbul and decided to stay there just to like chill for a while, just to get my things together because it was so surreal for me. I was a mess at that time. There are so many issues that I had at that time, like mentally, I would say. I've
mhm,
been going to therapy for like 3 years, and I would say that time was the most intense time for me personally and influenced my mental health a lot because there's so many feelings that are involved into this like period of time, and it's still happening. I'm still having these feelings of like guilt and being scared and not knowing what to do and not knowing where to go, and being scared of like other people that they're gonna blame you for what's happening, and like being able to change the situation but you feel so small and insignificant, because as one 27-year-old person who left their home country a while ago, like in 2018, and I kind of lost my identity back then, because I've started traveling and I started integrating into American culture. And I felt like an alien to both sides. I felt like an alien in Russia because I no longer have the narrative that I had in my mind back in 2018, and I feel like an alien everywhere else
mhm,
because this is how people perceive me. We're all going through this, and I feel like this event influenced the whole world and shocked the whole world, and I just wish it ends as soon as possible. Because of the war, I fled the country, made it to Istanbul, stayed there, and just to recollect and understand what's my next step is, because it also influences my visa situation. I decided to just get out of Turkey, get out of Istanbul, and stop being scared and just go and travel and explore other cultures, other countries, and maybe that will give me an opportunity to also grow in the music industry. Because back then in Turkey, I already found like a partner for us. I explored the local market, and unfortunately, I didn't find any other ways for me to grow professionally and to find new connections in the music industry. So I was like, maybe I just need to go elsewhere, and that will help me and help the company I work for. Not just like sit and do my work, but do something that will positively influence the company as well. So that's how I decided to come to Korea, because of K-pop. And the music industry is very well developed here. And that's how I came here to Seoul.
Oh my gosh, that story was incredible. I wasn't expecting to hear so much of past and the present and how it got you here. Very, very interesting. So my next question for you is South Korea's entertainment industry is very different from the entertainment industries in the Western world. For instance, in Korea, many musicians who hope to become K-pop stars must first go through a rigorous K-pop training program or process that can take years. What do you think of K-pop's recent huge influence on the music industry as a whole?
I think the influence of K-pop music and Korean music industry on the Western music industry is amazing. I mean, even the sound of upcoming and like popular pop music in America has changed with whatever is like popping and becoming popular here in Korea. And overall gave the music industry in America like a fresh breath of air, I would say. Something new, something that they haven't experienced before in the US in the music industry. Previously, I would say the American music industry, they kind of produce and consume for themselves and for the rest of the world. So they don't rely on anyone else. They rely on their intuition based on what's going to be popular next, based on whatever cultural and other movements. For example, what's going to be popular in the lyric, in the sound, in the visual aspect of it, and so on and so forth. So here, with Korean music industry growing and becoming so popular, it opens the door to international collaboration. So maybe you know that lots of producers and songwriters are being sent from the US to Seoul for like songwriting camps to write songs for idols or to write collaboratively with local writers and producers to incorporate some of the Western sound and some of the Korean sound, to incorporate Korean language and English language. And it's such a beautiful mixture of both cultures, and it just brings something new, never heard before in the music industry. So that's my perspective. This I think is amazing, and it doesn't happen often, unfortunately. I just talked to one of our partners the other day, and I remembered Stromae, a Belgium, a French EDM artist who became popular in the US as well a long, long time ago. And that actually also improved the EDM music in Europe in general and brought a new sound, brought a new style to American sound as well. So I feel like that's great. Just broaden the horizons and of creativity of the music industry in general, and collaborating internationally is always good.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Now, how did you go about getting one of your songs featured in the hit Netflix show Hype House?
So in 2020, I started working for a sync a licensing and music publishing house based in Los Angeles called 41 Music Group. So I started exploring the publishing and sync licensing world, how to get your music to on television, films, ads, and so on and so forth. So that was a brand new world for me because previously I worked as an artist manager or a producer. I worked for a while producing shows for Dame Dash Studios, and we also had like an artist division. I was helping and promoting artists there as well, coordinating live performances. But it's so different from this part of the music industry. So I basically had to learn from scratch. And again, I was super blessed to find 401. I interned for them for 3 months. They offered me a part-time position first that turned into full-time, and I learned a lot about music publishing and sync licensing world through my work at 401. And at some point, when at the company we started having this custom music projects for TikTok and huge brands like Leroy Mercier or NYX or Victoria's Secret Pink, and we would write music for their TikTok campaigns. I started thinking for myself, why I don't do anything? Like, I gotta try writing music for sync specifically. I just need to find a theme, and I feel like I understand the market pretty well now based on my knowledge that I gained through Forum One and through my amazing boss, Kristen. And I just decided to put that songwriting camp, as I mentioned previously. It turned out well. They loved the song. I had four co-writers, including myself, on the song. So it was super fun to write it, and the outcome was very good. We added the song to our catalog, to 401 catalog, and we already work with Netflix on a bunch of projects, and we've been working with Netflix previously. So Netflix actually picked the song because at that time they had a blanket license with us for this Hype House show. So they had access to our library and they could pick whatever song they like and they think fits the media. So they found our song and they decided to use it for the episode, which was amazing. And I think finding out the day I found out was like one of the best days of my
Yeah.
life. I was so happy. I was like crying and screaming and jumping and everything. It was amazing. Later on, past year, like December 2022, I released another song that I also co-wrote with one of the producers that I've met online, and we're really hoping that it will get some traction and by one of our clients in the future. This is how it happened. Just a very good music publishing company and sync licensing team that I happen to be a part of.
Very amazing. Now, this is an interesting one because you are also a musician, you're an artist. So, what is the writing process like for you when you write a song? Do you wait for inspiration to hit? Do you start with a chorus? Do you lay the verse out first? What is that process like?
I write lyrics every day and it depends. Sometimes I come up with a verse, sometimes I come up with a chorus, and then I'm trying to build out the rest of the song based on what came to me naturally. After we're done with the layout and understand how the song is going to sound like, I'm just renting out a recording studio for a couple of hours and record the final vocals for the song.
So, what artists would you like to work with in the future? Like, if you had a dream collaboration, who would it be?
Oh, it's such a great question. My dream collaboration, Lady Gaga is like
Mm,
the most amazing artist of all time.
mhm.
Writing for her or like collaborating at some point, it just would be mind blowing, absolutely surreal, absolutely dream come true.
Wow, that'd be amazing. We're gonna manifest it. It's gonna happen.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know that you're always looking for new artists and new talent to kind of place their songs in your catalog for media, different types of media. Is there a certain sound that you're looking for from these artists?
I wouldn't say there is a certain sound because we get so many different requests and briefs from our clients for different types of music.
Mm.
But I would definitely say that pop, hip hop, indie, EDM, those are the genres that are very popular. But it also all depends on the media. If we're talking about placing your music in sports shows, sports TV networks like CBS Sports, Fox Sports, Red Bull content on YouTube. Maybe even some country music would be popular there, as well as hip hop, obviously. If we're talking about TikTok placements, that would be uh, pop music predominantly. If we're talking about film, obviously trailer sound like sound design or instrumental. Also depends on the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're talking about like TV, reality TV, dating show, maybe some EDM, pop EDM. If it's a TV show for Gen Z, that would be new school hip hop,
Mm.
uh, pop music as well. So it all depends. If I would just honestly advise to go with whatever you like, and then you're gonna find an outlet for your creativity. You just gotta be authentic, stay true to whatever you like, whatever genre you like, whatever you want to convey with your music.
Now, my last question for you is there anything else that you would like to share about your journey, about the music industry, or just anything in general?
Yeah. So when I started my certificate program at UCLA, during my uh, third or second quarter, they gave me an opportunity to uh, intern, so I could get an internship. And I hope on that opportunity. I started looking for internships everywhere, and I sat there in my little room in LA, and I was sending my resume to hundreds of companies, honestly. I was going through entertainment.org, posts, Indeed, LinkedIn, everywhere I could find an internship opportunity. I would go to the website, I would write a cover letter, I would change maybe slightly my resume according to the job opportunity or internship opportunity and send it. And I had like a whole spreadsheet where I kept track on to whom I send the resume and what's their position is all about and so on and so forth. And at the end of that, when I finally landed the first internship, I think by that time I sent somewhere around 500 emails
Oh
to
my
all internship opportunities. So it's not easy, especially if you're a foreigner, you're coming from a different culture, different mentality, and American music market is very specific, and it also all depends on the genre. So you gotta be integrated in and understand the sound, understand the music industry very well, educate yourself. Listen to up and coming artists, listen to old artists like A-list artists, so to say.
Yeah.
I was super close to giving up, but I just again pushed it, and thanks to my friend I was living at the time, she was also encouraging me to keep going. I found the internship, unpaid internship, for the company called Dame Dash Studios with Damon Dash, who is a co-founder of Rockefeller Records and ex-producer of Jay-Z and Kanye West. And after I worked with them for 3 months, they offered me a full-time position, so I kind of stuck with them for about 9 months, and it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot, and even though I really loved working in the company, and Damon is such an amazing person, I just felt that I need to work on something closer to the music industry, because I've been like coordinating shootings, producing shows. I was also coordinating live concerts, managing Damon's social media and company's social media. It was very fun. It was cool, and I enjoyed it. But at that time, I really wanted to um, work on something else, more music industry related, because the things that I was working on were entertainment industry related.
Yeah.
So I made a tough decision for myself to go and find another opportunity. And I basically started from scratch because no one wanted to hire me again.
Yeah.
So when I decided to leave Dame Dash Studios, I had to again start sending lots of cover letters, resumes, and just like keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best. I also sent like about 300 or 400 emails at that time, and I landed 2 internships. I think working in the music industry, you never stop learning.
Yeah.
You always gotta educate yourself. There's always something new. There's technology, new technologies, new things, new ways of promoting music or making music, and you gotta stay on top of those things and learn a lot. And another thing that I think is important to share is there are so many life situations, struggles that you may face if you're getting out of your comfort zone. At some point, when I just moved to LA, I slept outside of the house, like on the street, because I rented like a bed in a dorm, and it was summertime. It was super hot. The dorm room was super small, and it had 4 people in it. Not very welcoming people to me specifically. I don't know. I just kind of, we didn't find a common ground with my roommates.
Yeah.
So it was just impossible to sleep in that room because it was super humid, super hot, and I just found a way to, go outside of the building and sleep outside on the porch, just with a like a mattress. Um, and that was like the lowest point, I guess, for
Mhm.
me. But I was at that time I was like super happy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was so pumped. I was there in the City of Angels doing my thing, and even now I consider this as like a positive, life experience. Maybe thank God I was safe, because the area I lived in was kind of not very safe. So yeah, just if you want to make it in the music, be prepared for working longer hours, not being paid at the very beginning, and be prepared of working a few jobs, having side hustles. But eventually, if you stick to this, it will pay off, 100%.
That was an amazing story, an amazing interview. I want to thank you so much, Xena, for coming on here and sharing.
Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, I had such a great time.
Well, thank you for coming, and you have a wonderful day.
Oh, you as well.
Bye.
Bye.